مساء الخير. Distinguished guests, companions, friends, thank you for being here to celebrate TAKREEM America's second annual awards night with us. Our foundation is more than an awards ceremony. It is a platform that celebrates brilliance, success, and change makers. It's a networking space. It's a contribution to a better world and a way to give back to those who make the world better. And tonight, here we are. TAKREEM America was born from the fruits and successes of TAKREEM, founded 14 years ago. From the Middle East to the Americas, the work never stopped. It's quite a remarkable time. And the more I reflected on what I wanted to say tonight, the more I kept coming back to how much has passed since we started and how much has happened since then. It's a tedious exercise to recount them. But if we just take the past year, we've had the violent repression of a feminist uprising in Iran, the first World Cup in an Arab country. We lost a brave colleague in Jenin, the remarkable Palestinian journalist, Shireen Abu Akleh, who was killed while doing her job. Russia invaded Ukraine, the Taliban took over Afghanistan, and 50,000 people died in the catastrophic earthquake in northern Syria and Turkey. And before that we had COVID, the Beirut blast, another protest movement in Egypt, an uprising in Iraq. I could go on and on, but I'm sure you've all grappled with the pain of these events. And quite honestly, it is not my intention to reenact any of that suffering tonight. Contrary to what people may think, those of us working in the media take no pleasure bearing bad news. In fact, I'm saying this to say that this is why I founded TAKREEM all those years ago. Those events that I just listed, they are headlines. They are easy to list, to summarize, to reduce to a few words in a speech, but every one of these is complex and elaborate. The violent repression of a feminist uprising in Iran is happening. It's true, but the uprising continues as well. The Iranians themselves have not given up because there is no giving up. Women, life, and freedom are three unnegotiable pillars of life. How could they give up? Take another example, COVID. We remember COVID as one block period of uncertainty and fear. But that's the headline. Look past it, and you remember details full of hope. The doctors and nurses who put their lives on the line to provide care. The essential workers who could not stay home. The people playing music on balconies, the quarantine bubbles we formed. The joy of seeing our family members. The pain of losing some of them. The strength to go on. This evening is supposed to be about hope. In my humble opinion, hope begins by looking past the headlines and remembering the stories. The headlines are reductive, and we deserve better. Do the headlines of our home countries reflect the stories we tell of these places? Not all of them, very few of them. Behind every story of people killed in a drone strike, there are countless untold stories of little girls in Egypt waking up to go to school. A mother tucking in her son's shirt and putting him on a bus. A young teenager in Damascus buying his first guitar and dreaming of becoming a rock star. A poet in Yemen who sits at home and closes his eyes and dreams of a better world. These people are real. They're not in the headlines, but they are real, and their stories are real. It's no coincidence that TAKREEM America, TAKMINDS, and TAKREEM all resolve around the stories of change makers. I have built my entire career around highlighting these stories. And before founding TAKREEM, I spent my days bringing to the public the stories of some of the most remarkable people in the world. I believed in the power of these people, in bringing out their stories. They inspired me and millions of other people. They were contagious in the best of ways. Tonight, if I can allow myself, I would like to ask you to listen to stories. It's easy when a laureate walks onto the stage to focus on the award and the speech, on the headline, and to overlook the story. This is where hope lives. And the story of all the small, dull, boring, normal days of consistent, hard work that preceded the award. TAKREEM America's award ceremony is one night of gratitude for 364 nights of hard work. We are a US foundation, yes, but the executive team, my colleagues and myself, are all based in Beirut. And believe me, when I tell you it's even more difficult than it sounds, the tough part is that we, like so many others in that part of the world, we feel like we are fighting an uphill battle every day. Every day, we ask ourselves if we will find fuel in the gas station in Beirut to fill up our cars, to make it to work. We take the stairs because the elevators are still damaged from the Beirut explosion 3 years ago, just a few hundred meters away from our offices. We work in darkness because of the frequent power cuts. We have a tiny tab open on the sides of our screens, monitoring the currency exchange price as it shoots further and further up in a never-ending spiral. This is the reality of Lebanon today, and it's no better than other realities in our part of the world. These realities are behind every success you will see on the stage tonight. They shape our heroes and our laureates. There is no point to think romantically about those problems, nor normalizing them. But it must be said that these obstacles are the mountains that each one of us and you are climbing to reach that beautiful moment under the spotlight. The moment when we look back and say, we made it. We did not give up. We helped. That is the hope and the story. It is the story itself. Tomorrow, we'll be hosting TAKMINDS, my special favorite. TAKMINDS is a platform of mentorship for young change makers in the world. If tonight we are celebrating success, tomorrow we go back to setting the groundworks for this success. That's the important part. We have a weekend of mentorship and networking planned, of exchanges and debates, of sharing and listening, of meeting emerging talents. The objective of all of this, to go back to it again and again, is to create spaces where people like all of us, like yourselves, like many more, can come together from different countries, races, beliefs, genders, and origins. Spaces not only to celebrate a change and success, but to learn from those who have achieved them and help those who seek them. Platforms that celebrate brilliance, success, and change makers and help them write their stories. Your help is alive in the stories you will see on stage tonight. It is the hope you will see in our laureates' eyes, the hope that is reflected in all of ours. Thank you for being a part of the story. Thank you for giving us hope.